We have a problem, a really big problem. And that problem is sitting in the Oval Office. We have a president that is working to destroy American institutions, and alongside him, a group of incompetent, untrustworthy idiots. On March 13th, Jeffrey Goldberg, who was the editor in chief of The Atlantic, was accidentally added to a group chat on Signal with none other than J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, and Marco Rubio, among others. They discussed impending military strikes and other highly classified information. These idiots did not even realize that Goldberg was in the group chat until Goldberg removed himself and reported to the officials what he had witnessed. The headline on The Atlantic reads, "The Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real. Then the bomb started falling." And in Goldberg's article, he shared screenshots of the text threads on Signal. And I'm going to go ahead and read through the ones that he released. Now, keep in mind, the ones that actually share classified intelligence, he had the decency to not share in the article or otherwise. So it starts off, J.D. Vance, at Pete Hegseth. If you think we should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out again, whatever that means. Let's just make sure our messaging is tight here. Obviously, it isn't. And if there are things we can do up front to minimize the risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. Saudi oil facilities, they're scared about the oil, fuck the human lives, right? So then Pete Hegseth says, VP, I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. But Mike is correct. We are the only ones on the planet on our side of the ledger who can do this. Nobody else even close. The question is timing. I feel like now is as good as time as any, given POTUS directive to reopen shipping lanes. I think we should go, but POTUS still retains 24 hours of decision space. And SM says, as I heard it, the president was clear. Green light, but we soon make clear to Egypt and Europe what we expect in return. We also need to figure out how to enforce such a requirement. And then if the U.S. successfully restores freedom of navigation at great cost, there needs to be some further economic gain extracted in return. And so the next thread I'm going to show you is the response after they successfully bombed Yemen. They're celebrating in a Signal group chat. They're celebrating the bombing of people. So J.D. Vance, excellent. John Ratcliffe says, a good start. Mike Wald sends some fucking emojis. MAR, which is Marco Rubio, says, good job, Pete and your team. Michael Waltz, the team in Mal did a great job as well. SM, good work all, powerful start. These people are so unbelievably incompetent, it's insane. Imagine if instead of a reporter with integrity, it was someone else who screenshotted and shared all of the classified intelligence publicly. Imagine if someone had sold that intel to a foreign government. All of the damage that could have been done. The Trump administration should be kissing Goldberg's goddamn feet for not leaking all of that intel. So obviously, the administration immediately acknowledged the issue and announced that they're working to resolve it. Just kidding. They're weirdly denying it, sort of. Take a look at what Secretary Pete Hegseth said when questioned about it.
As we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that.
Right,
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
The NSC said it was authentic.
So obviously he is lying. Of course they were discussing war plans, and they were discussing highly classified information in an unapproved place. And to really underscore the total buffoonery that is the Trump regime, Trump's spokesman for the National Security Council put out a statement that completely disregards Hegseth's comments. He shared the following. He says, Brian Hughes, the spokesman for the National Security Council, responded 2 hours later confirming the veracity of the Signal group. This appears to be an authentic messaging chain, and we are reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to the chain, Hughes wrote. The thread is a demonstration of the deep and thoughtful policy coordination between senior officials. The ongoing success of the Houthi operation demonstrates that there was no threat to troops or national security. Now, we know that this isn't true. This could have put American troops' lives at danger. And I want to underscore that these People are controlling our nuclear weapons and bombs. They can't even get a damn story straight, and they're sharing classified information with random people. This is ridiculous, dangerous, and totally unacceptable. Trump already has his goons running around trying to normalize this insanely unacceptable behavior, obviously. Take a look at Senator Josh Hawley trying his hardest to defend these actions.
Hawley, I'll just read part of this piece in The Atlantic. The world found out shortly before 2 p.m. Eastern on March 15th that the U.S. was bombing Houthi targets across Yemen. And this reporter, Jeffrey Goldberg, writes that I, however, knew 2 hours before the first bombs exploded that the attack might be coming. The reason I knew this is that, again, this is the article in The Atlantic, that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, had texted me the war plan at 11:44 a.m. The plan included precise information about weapons packages, targets, and timing. Senator, your reaction to this?
Well, I thought what the Secretary of Defense just said, Laura, was an outstanding statement. And listen, I mean, we don't know how much of this is accurate or not, but it looks like even if everything the Atlantic reported is true, it's the president's advisors discussing among themselves options they might recommend to the president. And nobody can deny the success of what the president is doing here, which is what Pete Hegseth just underscored. And this is what the leftist media is reduced to. They can't argue with the policies, which the American people support. They can't argue with this new demonstration of American strength that is keeping Americans safe at home and abroad. And so now we're griping about who's on a text message and who's not. I mean, come on.
So not only is he trying to minimize the seriousness of handling classified material so recklessly, he is weirdly attempting to blame Democrats. I should remind you that every person in that group chat, other than Goldsberg, are Republicans, and Republicans hold the power in the House, Senate, and executive branch. These people have fucked up big time, and they know it. And to help you understand the very abnormal and very dangerous behavior that this is, I want to explain how classified material such as this is supposed to be shared. Typically, government officials with high-level security clearance would use a SCIF, or a sensitive compartmented information facility, to view and share classified information. Anyone with the clearance to access these typically have easy access to a computer with this software stored on it. Here's the thing though, when this classified material is viewed, officials are required to leave all technology, including phones, smartwatches, etc., behind in order to protect that information. In this case, had this intel leaked prior to these bombings, American troops could have been put in danger, especially if the nation that was being bombed found out exactly when and where it was taking place. American lives were at risk due to this abhorrent behavior of these officials. Americans could have died. And in a normal political environment, these officials would be immediately forced to resign and could possibly be prosecuted due to their insanely reckless behavior. But these aren't normal times, and you and I both know that Trump does not give a fuck. So this is my question. We know that Pete Hegseth is an alcoholic, and we have no proof to suggest that he has changed. Now, I believe that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, but was he drunkenly sending these text messages? Why did nobody in that group chat, other than the Atlantic reporter, think, maybe it's not a good idea to be sharing this intel in an unprotected setting? These people truly believe that they are above taking responsibility for their actions, and it starts right at the top. And I want to leave you with this quote from Hillary Clinton, who responded to the news with the following. She says, "You have got to be kidding me." And you may remember that in 2016, Clinton storing her emails on a private secured server was so damning, she lost the election. And now we have senior level officials in the White House planning attacks on foreign soil through a group messaging app. Every time I think it cannot possibly get worse. Somehow, it always does. I'll see you on Wednesday.